Arman Tsarukyan is on fire. Training with Khamzat, he's unleashing pure aggression and calling out Ilia Topuria. Fans are stunned as Arman vows to end Topuria's streak with brutal power. This clash is heating up fast. As Arman Tsarukyan ramps up his training, he's also showing full support for Khamzat's big UFC title run. Speaking candidly, Arman shared how closely he's working with Khamzat during camp. He emphasized his role as a training partner ready to help in any way, whether wrestling or striking, all to push Khamzat toward becoming a UFC champion.
I'm Arman Tsarukyan. We have a training camp with Khamzat. He's getting ready for his title fight. He looks sharp, so excited for him and to see him UFC champion. So far his camp going well, he's healthy, he has a lot of energy, and I'm just here to help him whatever they need. If they need the wrestling, I'll wrestle. If they need the striking, I'll strike. So I'm here to help, and I want him to be a UFC champion.
During an intense training session, boxing coach Yogi pushed Arman Tsarukyan to stay sharp and aggressive. His focus was on perfecting Arman's footwork and precision, making sure every strike had purpose. Yogi's commands echoed through the gym, pushing Arman to maintain pressure and stay disciplined. Moments later, Jackson Yogi delivered clear instructions to guide Arman's next moves.
That's it. That's where you want to go with it. Good. Work, break, step back. Change your angle.
Moving on, as the intensity of fight camps peaks, Khamzat and Arman Tsarukyan have taken their training to a whole new level. Away from the spotlight, the two warriors are grinding in a private garage gym, focusing on raw power, relentless wrestling drills, and precision striking. Every session is about pushing past limits, sharpening their skills, and preparing for war inside the octagon. After training hard with Khamzat and preparing for big fights ahead, Arman Tsarukyan didn't hold back when addressing the ongoing talk about his next opponent in the Ariel Helwani show. He slammed the media hype and dismissed rumors, making it clear that fight decisions aren't based on personal preferences or social media chatter. For Arman, it's all business. Whoever the UFC puts in front of him, he's ready to face.
You think he's picked easy fights? Volkanovski, Holloway?
No. If you're gonna see me or Paddy, it's easier to fight Paddy.
That's why I was asking. Do you think there's a chance that he'll say, no, give me Paddy, we have a history, and then they go with him next as opposed to you?
No one gives a what he says. He says you gotta fight, he's gonna fight. But this is just trash talks, just Twitter shit. But this is just for the media. UFC do whatever they wanna do, and they don't care who you're gonna fight. They just call you and tell you.
Before diving into Arman Tsarukyan's game plan, TJ Dillashaw weighed in on what it takes to beat Ilia Topuria. He pointed out that the key is to avoid fighting in Topuria's comfort zone and to force him into unfamiliar situations. Dillashaw praised Arman's strategic thinking, saying his mix of striking, movement, and grappling could be the blueprint for breaking Topuria's dominance.
Time of the matter of person, I think Charles Oliveira was the wrong matchup for him. Someone that's not going to play that middle ground. Like right here is where I don't want to be with Topuria, right? I'm going to be here. I'm going to land my kicks. I'm going to be moving. I'm going to take takedowns, right? Even if he's got good wrestling, I got to be a full round MMA fighter to beat Topuria. I'm not going to beat him right here in this middle ground. This is where he's the best. Why be there? I want to be at kicking range. For me personally, I want to be someone where I can kick because now like I'm this much further away, it's gonna be harder for him to get to me. I'm gonna move around, I'm gonna get him to grapple and make him tired. Not so much I'm even gonna out grapple him right away, but it's gonna slow down his punches.
Hey, I'm a big fan of Topuria, and I hate that I'm gonna say this.
Right after Arman shared his detailed strategy for beating Ilia Topuria, Rampage Jackson jumped in with his thoughts. Despite being a fan of Topuria, Rampage admitted Arman's breakdown was spot on. He pointed out Topuria's vulnerability to head kicks and emphasized how smart defense, combined with countering his stiff jab, could be the key to disrupting Topuria's boxing-heavy approach.
I said it's 100% right because what is Topuria's #1 weakness? Head kicks.
He did get kicked upside his
He
head.
gets dropped from that.
Yeah.
My thing is, if I was fighting a guy like Topuria with really good boxing, I would use the cover. Okay, look, he got a really good jab. Hey, y'all pay attention to the jab?
Yeah.
He has a really good stiff jab. I don't know how much he sets the jab up. I see him with the good stiff jab. Me, I would always parry that jab, but then I would cut and roll, but there's no secret. Because if you just hold your hands up like this, he's coming and he's got good accuracy. He's coming in between those. But this right here is going to be.
Moving on, Arman Tsarukyan remains confident that Ilia Topuria has yet to face true elite level wrestling. He pointed out that fighters like Islam Makhachev and himself bring a completely different level of grappling that Topuria hasn't experienced. According to Arman, this style of relentless pressure and control would allow him to dominate Ilia on the ground with ease.
У него не было борцов хороших, но я знаю, что Ислам, такие борцы могут его перевести и держать легко на стиле.
Furthermore, during his chat with Daniel Cormier, Arman Tsarukyan doubled down on his confidence when it comes to Ilia Topuria. He boldly stated that Topuria is not as dangerous as people think, especially compared to fighters like Charles Oliveira. Arman explained that Topuria's ground game is limited, making him easier to control with relentless takedowns and pressure, unlike Oliveira's lethal submission threats.
I'll send Topuria back to top 15 pound for pound. For me, it's easier to fight Topuria than Oliveira.
Wait,
for my
I
style.
don't understand that though. I don't understand that, Arman. Like, how can you say that?
Because I like to take down people, you know. When you take down Charles Oliveira, he still can like choke you or some like do submission.
He almost had you. He almost had you.
But Topuria is gonna try to get up, and then you can like just go like 1,000 times to take him down because there is no problems on the ground.
Well, that Bryce Mitchell fight that you were speaking about, he won that fight by submission.
Maybe he's a good guy, but not the best fighter.
Not everyone is convinced that Arman Tsarukyan can handle Ilia Topuria's power. Former UFC champion Demetrius Johnson weighed in with a bold prediction. According to him, Topuria's striking is on another level, and he won't hesitate to chase the knockout. Mighty Mouse believes Topuria's confidence and precision could be enough to stop Arman before the fight even hits the ground.
Like, I don't think he's just going to risk going into where Arman's good just to prove a point.
No, I think he's gonna knock Arman out. I don't think he cares to wrestle with anybody. I think he's gonna get himself to the right spot and try to knock everybody out.
Additionally, before sharing the latest camp details, Bear DeGidio praised the energy surrounding Khamzat Chimaev and Arman Tsarukyan's preparations. He noted that both fighters are pushing themselves harder than ever, supported by elite coaches and training partners. Bear explained that this camp feels different, with everyone focused on sharpening every skill.
Right, camp started week 2, and Khamzat's got sparring today. We have a bunch of sparring partners coming in here. We obviously have the whole place locked down for him. They've been drilling and working on a lot of technique. He has an amazing jiu-jitsu coach from Sweden here and his whole team. Arman's been here as well. Now they're getting ready for some live sparring, and I feel like the camp is starting to kind of uptick a little bit. So I see the boys training late night with Cody at the Sansa Performance Studio. I see them getting good sleep. They have a crazy nutritionist. He's also been training with Sam Calavito with TJ Dillashaw. So the whole Jackson Media House and Santos Studio team's really coming behind him. We're excited to watch this guy go out there and just dominate. Kill everybody.
Adding on their latest podcast, Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell debated whether Charles Oliveira was the right opponent for Ilia Topuria. They suggested that Arman Tsarukyan might have been the better choice, considering his close fight with Oliveira and his dangerous style. Pointed out how Tsarukyan had already earned a spot in the title picture but missed out due to timing.
It didn't have to be Oliveira. You could argue it should have been Arman Tsarukyan, who did defeat by split decision Charles Oliveira when they met, but then had to pull out of his title opportunity against Islam Makhachev at the the last minute.
I don't know why he accepted, because you can't come here as a backup fighter. Even with Charles, he was struggling a lot, and with me, there's like, he has no chances.
His fucking confidence.
I know, that's what I mean. It's different, right?
He's even more ruthless in Spanish, by the way, when they show the
it's as cold as that is. It's
Luke and Brian also discussed Topuria's fiery confidence, noting that his comments become even sharper when translated from Spanish. Luke then highlighted Tsarukyan's fierce response on social media, where he warned Ilia that he would be a nightmare matchup. This back and forth has only fueled speculation about a potential clash between the two fighters.
Much
All right, let's see the Tsarukyan response on the quote tweet is, "You better pray nothing happens to Charles, because I'm the worst possible matchup for you in this division. There's a reason you're fighting the guy I already beat and not me for that belt." Well, now, Luke, could you tell us the DraftKings odds currently on this main event?
We got -455 Ilia, +350 Charles.
Okay,
that seems excessive.
It seems excessive.
Crazy, though.
What would it have been, though, if it was Tsarukyan against
in the
Way
100s
closer.
or 200s at
100%. It's in the hundreds.
The conversation then shifted to betting odds, with Luke and Brian questioning how heavily Ilia Topuria is favored against Charles Oliveira. They speculated how the odds might look if Tsarukyan were the opponent. The hosts also touched on potential future matchups, suggesting Ilia could follow a Conor McGregor-like path, targeting stars like Paddy Pimblett or even moving up in weight.
Topuria likes to call a shot. He's kind of following a Conor playbook. I believe he's going to call out Islam if he wins. But he's claiming that he would prefer Paddy next, but he needs Paddy to go through Justin Gaethje first, and his goal would be to go from Paddy and then directly to welterweight if Islam wins the championship.
I've been saying they should do this anyway. Paddy has put together the resume. I think that Paddy Pimblett would bring, like, you always kind of need a foil who's going to bring out something more from that guy that's still somewhat mysterious. I feel like that.
Furthermore, before diving into Arman Tsarukyan's comments, Chael Sonnen gave his unfiltered take on Ilia Topuria's current streak. While acknowledging Topuria's string of knockouts, Chael warned fans not to overhype his run just yet. He stressed that Ilia hasn't beaten top names like Arman Tsarukyan or Islam Makhachev, drawing a sharp comparison to Conor McGregor's legendary rise and title victories.
Do you think that Ilia Topuria is on the greatest run that the UFC has ever seen? KO, KO, KO. You need to keep it in perspective. Keep it in your pants over what you just saw, because it's not what you think. He didn't beat the guy. The guy is ranked #1, and his name is Arman Tsarukyan. He didn't beat the champ, and his name is Islam Makhachev. He beat another guy who's really, really good, and he beat him in a way that nobody else could. And keep your comparisons to Conor. Conor goes out to Madison Square Garden. He takes on Eddie freaking Alvarez, the reigning champion at a weight class Conor had never been at. Ilia didn't beat the sitting champion. To just match what Conor did, Ilia would have had to have the belt and have knocked out Islam Makhachev.
Moving on, while discussing the title picture with Daniel Cormier, Arman Tsarukyan made it clear that he sees himself as the rightful contender. He explained that the UFC will ultimately decide who gets the next title shot, but fans and experts already recognize his name. Arman confidently stated that he's the only fighter capable of defeating Ilia Topuria and proving he's the real threat in the division. He said, "Yeah, I mean, the UFC is going to decide who is going to fight for the title, but if you ask fans and people, they just call my name because they know I'm the real contender, and I know that only I can beat Topuria." On the other side, when asked about Ilia Topuria's strong takedown defense, Arman Tsarukyan didn't hesitate to share his thoughts. He acknowledged that Topuria is tough to control on the ground, but remained confident in his wrestling. Arman explained that his strategy isn't just about holding opponents down, but using ground and pound, especially elbows, to create damage and make the fight turn in his favor.
Однозначно, я думаю, что смог бы перевести, точно перевел бы, но он такой маленький, короткий, ему таких, наоборот, тяжело удерживать. Перевести перевел бы, но вот удержать 5 минут, не знаю. Даю, увидим. Ну, я люблю работать локтями, мне не нужно там все 5 минут держать его, если я попаду один раз хорошо локтем, и мне уже будет намного легче драться.
Meanwhile, DC questioned Ilia Topuria's dominance, and Arman Tsarukyan confidently explained why he deserves the spotlight. He emphasized his improvements over the past year and how eager he is to prove he's the rightful contender. Arman made it clear that he's prepared to showcase his evolution and achieve his dream of becoming world champion. He said, "I mean, I just need the fight to show everybody that I'm a different fighter and that I've been improving so much. My last fight was about a year and a half ago, and I can't wait to go out there and show who Arman Tsarukyan is, why I'm the #1 contender, and that I'm going to be a world champion. He further added, "It's not just about wrestling. I'm a well-rounded fighter, and I'm not going to just try to wrestle him. I'm going to strike, I'm going to kick, and I'm going to mix everything to win." Arman then outlined his game plan, stressing that he's not a one-dimensional wrestler. He promised to mix striking, kicks, and clinch work to overwhelm Topuria. According to Arman, his goal is to fight like a complete MMA athlete, constantly blending techniques to keep Ilia guessing and under relentless pressure. He said, "I'm going to up-kick him and mix things up, but obviously I'm not going to just try to box him. I'm going to fight like a real MMA fighter, show him wrestling, punch him, kick him, and use clinch work. I watched his first fight and he wrestled a little bit but got tired quickly. He's never faced wrestlers like me who know freestyle wrestling." Finally, Arman broke down Topuria's previous fights, pointing to his struggles with wrestling and conditioning. He criticized Bryce Mitchell's skill level and suggested Topuria hasn't faced someone with elite freestyle wrestling like his own. While acknowledging Ilia's flashy training clips, Arman warned that the octagon is no place for showmanship and vowed to expose him. He said, "He had Bruce Mitchell, or what's his name? Bryce Mitchell, yes. Bryce Mitchell is the worst fighter in 145. He took him down and held him from a crazy position. He even got a single leg and took him down, and Topuria couldn't escape for a whole minute." Adding on, Arman said, "If you're good on the ground, you never pull guard. You try to sweep or get up from there. I can tell he's not high level. On video, he hits pads well and defends wrestling beautifully. But this isn't WWE. I can't wait to show everybody." Before addressing Arman Tsarukyan's title shot chances, Dana White reflected on the challenges fighters face when missing weight. He reminded everyone that Arman once lost a golden opportunity due to this issue, calling it one of the worst mistakes a fighter can make. However, Dana admitted that Arman has since shown professionalism by making weight as a backup fighter, which improves his standing.
With Arman Tsarukyan weighing in as the backup, is he getting back in the good graces with you and the...
Well, it's not about getting back in the good graces. It's about, you know, the guy had the opportunity to fight for a title and didn't make weight. It's just, I mean, you couldn't fuck up anything worse than that. But he proved, you know, now that he's not fighting for the title and he was here as a backup fighter, he made weight, so it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Arman Tsarukyan is training harder than ever, working closely with Khamzat to get ready for his next big fight. Every day, Arman is improving his skills, from striking to wrestling, and pushing his limits in the gym. His focus and determination are clear. He wants to be the best and is confident he can defeat Ilia Topuria. Arman has a smart game plan to beat Topuria by mixing different fighting styles. He doesn't want to just wrestle or box. He plans to use kicks, punches, wrestling, and clinch work to keep Topuria guessing. Experts like TJ Dillashaw and Rampage Jackson agree that Arman's approach could be the key to stopping Topuria's rise. While Topuria is known for his strong striking and tough takedown defense, Arman believes he has the wrestling skill to control the fight and make it hard for Topuria to fight his best. He also points out that Topuria has never faced a wrestler at Arman's level before. Who do you think will come out on top when Arman Tsarukyan and Ilia Topuria finally clash? Drop your predictions and thoughts in the comments below.